This one is kind of a long shot, spooks and spookettes. Tonight's film, The Guardians of the Galaxy.
They call themselves the Guardians of the Galaxy. This might not be the best idea.
Now, before anyone thinks that I have totally gone off my rocker, I am qualified to give a review of this movie because Guardians of the Galaxy is not just a superhero movie. It is actually kind of a sci-fi film if you look at it because, well, there's all kinds of different planets and there are aliens in this movie. But if you think about it, Chris Pratt's character technically is from Earth, and the movie takes place in a different galaxy, so technically he would be the alien and everybody else would be just multicolored citizens of the galaxy. And then there's a raccoon and a giant tree. So, the movie is about a band of intergalactic outlaws. One of them, Peter Quill, aka Star-Lord, portrayed by Chris Pratt, who was adopted by alien scavengers when he was a young child, and, well, subsequently he has become one of their own, and he steals things for a living, you know. And he has recently stolen this thing called an orb. Well, Gamora, played by Zoe Saldana, has been sent by her adopted father, the great Titan Thanos, and this bad guy by the name of Ronan, to retrieve the orb from Peter Quill. Also in the mix we have Rocket and Groot, played by Bradley Cooper and Vin Diesel respectively, who are bounty hunters who are in search of Peter Quill because Peter Quill's boss, Yanu, played by Michael Rooker from The Walking Dead, has put a price on his head. So eventually the four of them get into a fight and they get thrown in jail, where they meet Drax the Destroyer, played by Dave Bautista, the WWE superstar. And basically the five of them get together, they bust out of jail, and eventually they are tied in an epic confrontation with Ronan the Accuser in a battle to save the galaxy. Because Ronan has gotten possession of the orb, which the orb contains an Infinity Stone, which is one of the most powerful substances in all of the universe. Ronan wants to use the stone to destroy Xandar and pretty much the whole galaxy. So it is up to the Guardians to stop Ronan once and for all. So, how do I explain my thoughts on this movie in a very, very simple phrase? It was the greatest movie ever! Don't believe me? Well, this movie, it had everything I could possibly want in it. Comedy, puns, intergalactic scenery, action, superheroes, aliens, you name it, it had it. While I was sitting watching this movie, I was so enthralled at this fantastic cinematic masterpiece that I thought to myself, I said, Self, there is no way that human hands made this movie. And then, just as I was thinking this thought, God appeared in front of the movie screen, and he looked right at me and he said,
Yes, Drahoon, you are my child.
I'll be completely honest with you though. Going into this movie, I did not expect much. I mean, I figured it would be a good movie. I mean, provided that there was a talking tree, a talking raccoon, and aliens, and a guy from the Parks and Rec show. But I had no idea that it would be this fantastic. The special effects were amazing. I mean, the motion capture was spot on. All the planet imagery, superb. And the action sequences were awesome. In case I didn't already said that, but the acting was great. My proverbial hat goes off to Dave Bautista because his performance just totally blew me away. I'm not saying anything to discredit anyone else. Everyone in this movie did a fantastic job, and I was very impressed with Chris Pratt. It was the first time I'd actually seen him in anything. And the comedy was brilliant. I mean, this movie had jokes I didn't even think would catch on. Like, there was a Jackson Pollock joke. You know who Jackson Pollock is? I don't know who Jackson Pollock is, but it was a funny joke. And of course, the drama. The drama was good. Each of the Guardians had a very incredible backstory. Whether they were kids running away from home, a science experiment gone awry, or a warrior that lost everything, or a giant tree. It all fit in perfectly. Definitely my favorite Marvel movie. I would argue possibly the best Marvel movie made up to date. And if you don't agree with me, I think we can all agree that it was at least the funniest Marvel movie ever made. And the most sci-fi. Well, that's all the time that I have. Be sure to join me next week for my review of The Conspiracy. But until then, as far as things go and things go bump in the night, there are such things